Have you ever looked at that neat little line of vitamin bottles on your kitchen counter and thought, at least I'm doing something good for myself? Maybe it's part of your daily routine: wake up, make coffee, take your vitamins. It feels responsible, right? Like you're taking charge of your health. Especially as you get older, I get it. We all want to stay sharp, mobile, and full of energy for as long as we can. And let's face it, there's comfort in believing that a few capsules a day will help us do just that. But what if I told you that some of the most common vitamins, yes, the ones that sound helpful and even essential, might actually be doing more harm than good? It's not that vitamins are bad, not at all. In fact, in the right doses and for the right reasons, they can be wonderful tools for maintaining your health. But here's the catch. Your body changes after 50. What worked for you in your 30s or 40s doesn't always work the same way now. And some vitamins, when taken in high doses or without a real need, can increase your risk of serious health issues, including strokes. Now, I know that might sound scary, but don't worry. This isn't a fear-based lecture. This is about awareness, about helping you make informed choices that truly support your health, because you deserve to feel strong, clear-headed, and vibrant every single day. So let's talk about it. Let us have an honest conversation about the vitamins that are sitting in your cabinet and how they might be affecting you differently than you think. The goal here isn't to scare you, it's to empower you. One of the first vitamins that surprised me is vitamin E. Most of us grew up hearing how powerful it is for our skin, how it protects against aging and supports the immune system. It sounds like a win, right? And yes, it can be, but only in the right amount. What a lot of people don't realize is that vitamin E is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means your body stores it instead of flushing out the excess. And when you take too much, especially from supplements, it can thin your blood more than it should. For someone already taking blood thinners or managing heart issues, this could increase the risk of bleeding, including bleeding in the brain. That's where the stroke risk comes in. And here's the thing, it's so easy to go overboard. Many supplements contain more than 100% of your daily recommended intake. And if you're also eating fortified cereals, snacks, or using vitamin-enriched skincare products, it adds up. I'm not saying to cut out vitamin E altogether. Your body needs it, absolutely. But the best source, real food, nuts like almonds and hazelnuts, seeds, spinach, and avocados all contain it naturally and in amounts your body can handle more safely. Now, let's talk about vitamin B6. This one's a bit tricky because it's marketed as the energy vitamin. You see it on labels promising mental clarity and mood support. And sure, your body does need it to produce neurotransmitters like serotonin, but when taken in high doses over time, it can actually start to harm your nerves. Too much B6 has been linked to numbness, tingling in the hands and feet, and even loss of balance in some people. That kind of nerve damage might not sound like a stroke, but when your nervous system is off, it can affect your coordination, reflexes, and even your circulation. And again, this doesn't usually come from food, it's usually from long-term supplement use. Your morning multivitamin might contain it. Your B complex might add more. And if you're taking an energy supplement or protein powder, you could be stacking it without realizing. I know some of you might be thinking, but I've been taking this for years. Should I be worried? The answer isn't panic, it's awareness. You don't have to stop everything cold turkey, but it's worth looking at your labels, seeing how much you're taking, and asking yourself, do I really need this much? Your body's needs after 50 are different. You're not in your high-energy, fast-recovering 20s anymore, and that's okay. In fact, it's a gift. It means you get to approach your health with more care, more wisdom, and more intention. Instead of thinking about how to do more, it's often about doing less but doing it better. And part of that is shifting the focus from pills back to your plate. Most of the vitamins we need can be found in everyday foods. When we're re-eating a balanced, colorful diet, it doesn't have to be fancy or complicated. It could be as simple as having oatmeal with berries, a handful of nuts, grilled chicken with steamed greens, or a hearty lentil soup. If you're ever unsure, a great step is to talk to your doctor or a nutritionist, not about the newest trendy supplement, but about your actual nutrient levels. Sometimes a simple blood test can tell you whether you're deficient in something or if your body already has enough. That knowledge alone can save you money, reduce your risk, and help you feel more in control of your health. And that is really what this is about, taking back control in a world that throws a lot of mixed messages at us. There's always a new miracle pill or a headline saying we're really not doing enough. But you don't need to chase every trend. You just need to stay informed, stay curious, and listen to what your body is telling you. Let's keep going, because there's another common vitamin that really surprised me, and I think it might surprise you too. You know, the more I looked into it, the more I realized that just because something is labeled essential doesn't mean we need more of it. And that brings me to niacin, also known as vitamin B3. Now, niacin has been praised for decades, especially for its ability to lower cholesterol. Some of you may have even been prescribed high-dose niacin years ago when statins weren't the go-to. But here's what's not often talked about. When niacin is taken in large doses, especially from supplements, your body starts breaking it down into byproducts that can trigger inflammation inside your blood vessels. And inflammation, especially inside the arteries, is like a slow-burning fire that sets the stage for serious problems, including strokes, It's strange to think that something meant to protect your heart could end up harming it, isn't it? The body needs balance. Niacin is still an important vitamin. We need it to turn food into energy, support brain health, and maintain our skin. But most people are already getting enough from their diet. Foods like chicken, salmon, brown rice, and mushrooms are rich in niacin. And when it comes from food, it's naturally balanced with other nutrients and absorbed at a pace your body can handle. Where we run into trouble is with those high-potency supplements, often labeled as flush-free or cholesterol support. They sound helpful, but too much of a good thing can turn into something your body has to work overtime to fix. And again, this isn't about fear, it's about understanding. There's a big difference between taking a thoughtful supplement, when your doctor recommends it, and grabbing the latest bottle off the store shelf because the label promises more energy, better memory, or glowing skin. That's why I started looking at how many things I was taking just because I'd heard they were good for you. These two vitamins often go hand in hand, especially in supplements. They're important for red blood cell formation, nerve health, and keeping homocysteine levels in check. Homocysteine is a fancy name for an amino acid that, when too high, is linked to a higher risk of heart disease and stroke. So yes, keeping those levels low is a good thing. But here's where it gets tricky. In the US and many other countries, foods like bread, cereal, and pasta are already fortified with folic acid. That means most of us are getting plenty, sometimes too much, especially if we're also taking a multivitamin or a brain booster that contains even more. Too much folic acid in the absence of enough B12 can actually hide the symptoms of a B12 deficiency. That's a big deal. When B12 is low, it can cause fatigue, memory problems, and nerve damage. And if folic acid is covering that up, you might not even notice something is wrong until the damage is done. And that damage can increase your risk for stroke too, because those elevated homocysteine levels, especially when B12 is low, quietly put pressure on your cardiovascular system. If you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, it's not uncommon for your ability to absorb B12 from food to go down. It's one of those little gifts that aging gives us. The solution isn't necessarily to load up on folic acid. It's to check your B12 levels and be mindful of what you're getting from both food and supplements. For example, if you eat a plant-based diet, you may need a little help from a B12 supplement. If you eat animal products regular like eggs, dairy, or fish, you might be getting enough. The key is knowing where you're at before deciding what you need. What really surprised me is how easy it is to be out of balance without even realizing it. You think you're helping your heart, your brain, your energy levels, but if those vitamins aren't working together the way they should, they can actually push your body in the wrong direction. It's not about perfection, it's about paying attention. And I'll be honest, when I first heard about all this, I felt a little overwhelmed. It felt like one more thing to worry about, one more thing to figure out. But then I reminded myself, knowledge is power. The more we understand how our bodies work and how they change with age, the more we can make choices that support our health, rather than sabotage it by accident. So I started small. I pulled out the bottles in my cabinet, I checked the labels. I asked myself, why am I taking this? Do I really need it? I looked at what I was eating every day. I thought about how I felt, my energy, my sleep, my clarity, and I started seeing it differently. You don't need a complicated supplement routine to be healthy. You don't need 10 pills a day. What you need is awareness, onto the willingness to look at your habits with curiosity instead of guilt. Because you've made it this far in life with wisdom, resilience, and strength, and now it's about fine-tuning, honoring your body, not overwhelming it. And with that in mind, there's one more vitamin that caught my attention. It's often praised as the sunshine vitamin, and you'll find it in nearly every wellness conversation out there. But when taken in excess, even vitamin D can raise red flags. Now I know what you're probably thinking. Wait, I thought vitamin D was the good guy. And in so many ways it is. It supports bone health, helps regulate your immune system, and even lifts your mood. For people over 50, especially those who don't get much sun, a little extra vitamin D can make a real difference. But like anything else, too much of a good thing can become a problem. And in recent years, it's become easier than ever to go overboard. We've been told that low vitamin D levels are bad, and yes, chronically low levels can absolutely impact your health. But the reaction to that has been a flood of hit-dose supplements hitting store shelves. You'll see capsules with 5,000, 10,000, even 50,000 IU of vitamin D. They promise stronger bones, better immunity, better everything. What they don't always tell you is that excessive vitamin D can raise your calcium levels too much. When there's too much calcium in the blood, it can start to harden and stick to the walls of your blood vessels. Over time, this contributes to arterial calcification, which makes your arteries stiff and less flexible, the perfect storm for high blood pressure, heart strain, and yes, stroke risk. And here's the twist. Sometimes, people who take large doses of vitamin D don't even realize they're getting too much. They may be taking it in a multivitamin, in their joint support supplement, in their bone health pills, and on top of that, popping an extra D capsule for good measure. The body stores vitamin D. It doesn't just pass through like vitamin C or other water-soluble nutrients. That means it can build up slowly over time, and you might not notice anything until it's already affecting your health. Fatigue, confusion, irregular heartbeat. These symptoms can sneak up quietly. This doesn't mean you should fear vitamin D, it means you should respect it. If you're curious about your levels, ask your doctor for a simple blood test. That way, you'll know whether you actually need a supplement and, if so, how much. It's always better to adjust based on real numbers than to guess and risk overshooting. And of course, one of the most natural sources of vitamin D is still sunshine. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day on your face, arms, or legs without sunscreen is often enough to boost your levels, especially in spring and summer. Pair that with foods like salmon, sardines, eggs, and fortified milk, and you may find that you don't need a supplement at all. The big takeaway here is this: your body is wiser than you think. It's constantly working to find balance. But when we overload it with megadoses of vitamins we may not even need, that balance gets disrupted. What starts off as a well-intentioned routine can slowly become a silent risk factor, especially when it comes to stroke. I don't share all of this to make you second-guess every decision or to toss all your supplements in the trash. I share it because I've been there. I've lined up the bottles, read the promises on the labels, and thought, if this helps me stay strong, why not take it? But now I see things a little differently. I see that more isn't always better. That sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your health isn't to add more but to pause, reflect, and simplify. Maybe that looks like reviewing your supplement routine with your doctor or pharmacist. Maybe it means switching from a high-dose pill to a lower food-based option. Maybe it's as simple as stepping outside for a short walk every morning, soaking up some sunshine, and knowing that your body is getting what it needs in the way nature intended. Whatever it looks like for you, the important thing is that you stay informed and stay connected to how you feel. If something seems off, whether it's fatigue, headaches, dizziness, or just a sense that something's not quite right, it's worth asking the question, could this be related to what I'm taking? Sometimes the answer is yes, and when it is, the solution doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. Often it's about going back to basics: real food, daily movement, a bit of sunlight, restful sleep, and knowing when less is more. At this stage in life, you've earned the right to feel your best, not just survive, but thrive. And that means looking at your health with fresh eyes, letting go of old routines that no longer serve you, and embracing small, smart choices that add up over time. So if this conversation has sparked something in you, maybe a bit of curiosity, or even a little relief, I want you to know that you're not alone. There's no shame in learning, in changing, in taking new steps toward better health. In fact, it's one of the most powerful things you can do. Your health journey doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be yours, guided by your body, your intuition, and the wisdom you've gathered over the years. If you've made it this far in the video, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever discovered something surprising about a vitamin or supplement you were taking? Have you adjusted your routine based on something you learned? Let me know in the comments. I really do read them, and your story could help someone else too. And if you found this video helpful, consider giving it a thumbs up. It helps the channel reach more people just like you, people who care about living fully, aging wisely, and staying strong in body and mind. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like more content like this. We talk about everything from nutrition and longevity to mindset, movement, and aging, well, with honesty, warmth, and a little bit of humor too. Remember, it's never too late to take control of your health. You don't need a medical degree or a shelf full of supplements. You just need a little information, a little inspiration, and a lot of heart. Here's to living your best life at any age, with strength, clarity, and confidence that comes from within.